So you're planning to set up a business in the Netherlands. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to go about setting up shop here and why the Netherlands may be the perfect spot to do so. So let's dive right into it. First of all, I'm going to talk about why the Netherlands is such a great place for business, and then I'm going to talk you through all the steps that you need to take in order to set up your business here. So the Netherlands has a good digital infrastructure for setting up businesses, whether it's a traditional setup or a startup. And I mean things like loans, taxations, bank accounts, suppliers and consumer data. The downside is that some of this may be in Dutch and it may be a bit hard to navigate, especially if you're not proficient in the language. There's a lot of information, a great deal of information available online on how to go about setting up your business. So if you're someone that's looking for a particular niche or area that you want to set up a product or service in, you can check out biz.gov.nl. Next up is the government support. The government of Netherlands is extremely supportive of all types of businesses and economic activity that supports its economy. And by that, I mean you have accelerators, incubators. A lot of VC funding happens in and around Amsterdam for new and innovative ideas. But also they go out of their way to support traditional businesses in making sure that they are profitable or they are able to compete in the international markets. The third reason is the location. The Netherlands is quite centrally located between UK, France, Germany, some of the bigger economies in Europe. It has a great airport for connectivity. Schiphol Airport has a lot of passengers that fly through it. There also is a major port within the Netherlands. Rotterdam is one of the biggest ports in all of Europe. The fourth reason is the language. The Dutch people are extremely proficient with English. So that allows them to adapt to global markets and sell services well beyond their boundaries. And lastly, I've listed work culture. The work-life balance in Netherlands is second to none. So next up is the steps that you need to take in order to set up shop here. The first one is market research, and this is just pretty much common sense. You need to understand what is the niche that you're operating in or the product or service that you're providing. You need to look up your competition and understand what it is that is your edge in this market. You can also do this by looking up your competition on Google, understanding what is the audience that they serve, what are the market trends in this area, and understanding the local culture of how to better serve this particular audience with your product or service. The second step is to choose the correct legal structure for your company. There are many types of legal structures in the Netherlands. The first one is a sole proprietorship, and that means you're like a one-person business. So if you are just starting off, it makes sense to have a sole proprietorship. A VOF is similar to sole proprietorship, but with multiple people involved. Next up, you have a BV, which is like a limited liability company. And lastly, there's an NV, which is a more stringent version of a BV. The third step that I've listed here is securing a office space. Now, this can be a commercial office space or a co-working space. There are also options to have a home-based office, so your home can be registered as an office address, but the owner or one of the managing directors of the company needs to be a tenant or the owner of that property. The fourth step in setting up a business is to register with the Chamber of Commerce, also known as the KVK. And this is a half an hour to 1 hour process where they fill out a couple of forms and enter your details, especially if you're a solo proprietorship. But there's a lot more involved if you're a BV. You might have to get tax or accountants involved in setting up the business. The fifth step is to set up a Dutch bank account. There are many bank accounts which, or banks rather, which serve businesses such as ABN AMRO, ING, Rabobank. There are also online, completely online banks such as Bank, which you can also use for your company. The sixth step is to get your tax registration sorted. You have many types of taxes in the Netherlands, especially if you're a business. You have VATs, VPBs, wage taxes, etc., etc. But all of this can only be processed once your company is registered with the Chamber of Commerce. The seventh step is to start hiring employees. And once you've set up store here, you need to make sure that you have employees. These can be citizens of EU, EEA, or Swiss nationals. But if you're unable to find these, you can also opt for people who are highly skilled migrants, so they fall under the HSM program, or are EU blue card holders. These employees can be offered fixed or permanent contracts. I would be a bit wary of offering permanent contracts right off the bat because they are a bit hard to terminate. So you're better off starting with a fixed term contract. And the last step that I've listed here is to obtain permits and licenses. Now these, so each job has its own type of license. Not all jobs have their licenses, but if you're in the medical space, or you're in childcare or a caregiver, you have your own licenses that you need to obtain. There are also professional service organizations where you can be a member, but these are pretty much optional. It's up to you if you want to be a part of them. Now, these are the steps that I've listed for setting up a business in the Netherlands. If you have more questions, or you would like me to go in more detail in some of these areas, you can leave a comment below with your question, and I'll be sure to respond to them. And please, if you like this video, please consider subscribing, because I'll be creating more of these videos to help you with your business and your entrepreneurial journey in the Netherlands.